getting rid of some old equipment. Let's get started. What's up, guys? I'm down here in the basement doing some work on my server rack, and I realized that I wasn't taping it, and it probably would be a good idea to do so that I could keep you guys posted on what's been going on. So in the last video I talked about getting rid of some equipment so that I can do some spring cleaning, or I guess more accurately fall/winter cleaning, just to kind of get rid of old stuff, and as well as to replenish some of my project budget money here, so that I've got some cash and capital to work on some new stuff. This guy right here is a server that I've had for a couple years now. This is an HP Proliant server. It's a DL380 G3. It's got dual Xeon processors. I think they're 2.8 gigahertz processors. 3 or 4 gigs of RAM. I can't remember at this point. And you can see there 5 18.2 gig Ultra 3 SCSI drives. There's also a RAID controller in here, and then this guy right here is a blank. And you know, I was using this for testing software. I think the last thing I had on here was Ubuntu server that I was playing around with. I just don't get a lot of use out of it anymore, and it's just kind of collecting dust, as you can see up there. So I've decided to get rid of it. In the back I've already unplugged everything, and I'll get it on the workbench and I can show you what's inside. Alright, back at the workbench, I've taken this heavy server out of the rack and at the bench here. Got a pretty good workout moving this along. I've taken the top off so you can see inside. I'll show you this really quickly. It's just a heavy metal top, and then underneath you've got some instructional stickers with you know, show you what the LEDs mean, statuses, and sort of how to remove parts from internally. And you've got this little latch that you know, locks the guy in place. You know, this is a G3, and it's a few generations removed. I think the most current one might be like a G7 or a G8, but still pretty nifty technology. There's a lot of redundancy built into these kind of things. You know, these kind of servers are built so that you have the least amount of downtime possible, so you can actually service these without having to take off or take out the entire server. So say your fans fail, you've got a fan failure in one or two or multiple of these, you can actually, you know, pull these out and replace them as you need, like that. You've got removable and redundant power supplies back here, and if I can kind of show you what they look like. You've got a lever back here, and then they just yank out, and have a fan, your connector up here, and then your power, and then a status LED. But you know, this server is meant to run on one of them, so if one fails, it'll fail over to the other working unit, and then you can replace this without having to take the server down. So that kind of stuff is actually pretty neat, especially if you have these deployed in like an enterprise environment. There are other kind of nice features. So you have the ability to get to your PCI riser card over here, or riser cage. You know, and in my server rack I've got these on just some really basic rails, but these actually have slots here on the side for sliding rails, so that when they're in the kind of rack that they're meant to be in, you can just pull them out and have them still be connected and service the unit without actually having to take it out. Up here up at the front you have a CD drive. This is like more of like a laptop, so it's very thin type of drive. Little floppy drive, and then up in the front you have the hard drives, which I showed you before. Fans, a bunch of fans to keep this thing cool because these really run hot. Dual processor. These are Xeon 2.8 gigahertz, I believe. It was 3 gigs of memory, and there's 6 slots, and I can't remember what the max amount of memory you can put in here. There's a RAID card. I don't know where that is. It might be these two guys here. There's a RAID controller for the drives in the front, and you can configure that separately. There's also something called ILO, which is integrated lights out. There's actually, I don't know if I can show you here. Yeah, it'll be a little bit tough. There's dual network cards in the back, but there's also an additional network port for ILO. And what ILO is a tool that HP provides so that you can actually go ahead and manage your server remotely. So it's basically a way for you to take care of what you need to take care of without having to run down to wherever your servers are. And it does some nice things like show you what the screen would be if you were sitting directly at the terminal, and will let you do some other stuff. So pretty nifty technology, even though it's a few generations removed. So what's the plan for this thing? I'm gonna try and get rid of it. It's not something I'm going to put on eBay because it's so heavy and it'll be so expensive to ship that it's just not worth doing, I don't think. I don't know if I'm going to part it out. I mean, these fans are still good, and these are small, and you can definitely sell those. And I guess if you have some of this older stuff and you need replacement pieces, that could be okay. I suppose I could pull the processors out, the memory, and then just start parting it out like that, but that might be more of a hassle because I will end up, I might be selling these piecemeal, but I still have this big giant piece of equipment laying around, and ultimately I just want to get rid of it. I might try and get rid of it on Craigslist, but again, it's kind of specialized. I mean, if you're somebody like me who likes this kind of stuff just to play around with it, maybe somebody will buy it. I might just cut my losses and then just recycle it, which ultimately, if it turns out that I can't get rid of it quickly, if there's not really a lot of interest, then that's probably what I'll do. I will, and actually already have, wiped the drives clean on this thing because you definitely, when you're going to be getting rid of technology, especially laptops, computers, servers, anything where you had information stored on disk, you got to make sure that you clean that stuff out, and I've already done that before. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hope you liked it. Definitely leave me a comment below. Tell me what you think I should do with it. I don't know, what would you guys do with it? Let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. That's, I think, about it. Definitely check out the description below. Follow me on Twitter for updates on things in general. Like and subscribe. That helps me out a ton. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.